I'm Ron.
And I'm John.
And I'm Paul. And not forgetting our award-winning editor, Eric the dog.
Welcome to
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio. Welcome to Riverport Radio's first podcast of 2025. We'd like to start by wishing all our listeners a healthy and happy new year. So, what's coming up in this month's podcast? Well, we start with a visit to St Ivo School, where we hold an in-depth interview with the Principal Tony Meneaugh. That's followed by an interview with Kathy from the local Slimming World group, for all those looking to lose weight after the festive period. And finally, we have a feature on the New Year's Day hangover party. Now in its 5th year, the hangover party has become a regular fundraising event in St Ives. And don't forget, as well as listening to the whole podcast, you can just use the individual chapters to listen to the segment that interests you most. So, let's get on with the show and head over to St Ivo School.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Today, the Riverport team find ourselves at the St Ivo Academy as guests of the principal, Mr Tony Meneaugh. Thanks for inviting us to the school, Tony.
You're very welcome.
We should start by making it clear that the three of us here today, myself, John and Paul, none of us have any connection with the school. None of us have children or grandchildren attend the Ivo, although John did, we understand his children did come here in the 80s and 90s, giving his age away. And John was a governor at the school at the time. Residents have always been very proud of the school and its achievements. Anyway, we're here at the school today to discuss some of the issues that have been reported to the town council, which were featured in the Riverporter newspaper. We have a number of questions to ask about the school, but before we start, is there anything you wish to say, Tony?
Yep, so I'm just very grateful for you to come in to talk to me and give us opportunity to put forward the school's response and school's view. Obviously the town council meeting was a bit of a surprise to us. We weren't invited to it, and obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what was said. I've only got the document which I believe was presented, and obviously what you good gentlemen reported.
Yeah, I think it wasn't an official meeting of the town council. It was a report given during the public participation part. Yeah. So there wouldn't have been formal notice of there being a meeting. And that's probably the reason why you weren't aware of it. In fact, I wasn't aware of it. I just happened to be in the town hall at the time. I was presenting something else to the town council, so I was intrigued as to what was being said, and hence we wrote the report, which, apart from a couple of very minor points, was a fair reflection of what was said there.
And just relating to that, there were some reports of bullying a while ago. Can you tell us what the school have been doing about that? Have you been sort of active about doing something about that?
So the school's always very active and takes bullying very seriously. We've got to understand we are a normal comprehensive school. Sometimes children are unkind to each other. I'm not going to sit here and say that unkind behaviours never happen in the school, because they do. You know, young people are growing up, they make mistakes sometimes, and sometimes they're not as kind to each other as they can be. What's really important is that the school takes it seriously, listens to the child, listens to their views about how they want it to be sorted as well, and uses the pastoral team to provide appropriate support, you know, talking to the parents as well about how we've addressed it and how we plan to keep their child safe moving forward. Pretty much every case is an individual one, and needs the context of that case in order to solve it appropriately.
Okay.
So do you feel that you've actually got somewhere with that issue now, and it's better?
Our children basically say to us, bullying isn't a huge problem in this school. Yeah. Obviously, that's going to have a different perception for the person or the family that are the ones who are experiencing it, and it's going to feel a far larger issue to them, quite understandably. But every time our students talk to external people who come in, they were quite clear, it's not really an issue here, and if it is, then the teachers deal with it.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
One of the things we do as the River Porter, we follow quite closely local social media and what people are saying. It's much of which is taken as a pinch of salt and wouldn't be published by us. But there was an item, knowing that we were going to see you today, there was an item on Facebook just before Christmas where a lady new to the area apparently just asked a question. What does anybody give? Can anybody give an honest and current opinion of what they think of St Ivo school? The actual results, responses were absolutely huge about it. A great list of responses, but they varied between it's not a school, it's a prison, to at the other end of the scale, which said my two girls are doing fine and the teachers are fantastic and all schools are strict. So it's obviously a sort of mixed bag there, but how would you react to that?
Well, see, social media is quite interesting, isn't it? Because particularly that group, I don't think we're invited to. So there's no, it's not an open forum for us to respond to any of the concerns. What I would say is come in and see the school. Everybody who comes and visits actually sees us truly in action, exactly what happens. It is not a prison. We do have strict rules, but many schools have strict rules. They need boundaries. Students actually like boundaries within their life in order to feel safe, secure, and they know what's happening. So that parent, I would completely say, just come in, see what it's like. You can dictate where you want to go in the school. I'm not going to give you a varnished version of it. You'll see us warts and all, but don't believe, as you say, take things with a pinch of salt in social media.
Interestingly, that was one of the comments that someone had made.
Okay.
They recommended that the lady came to the school and came to see you in person. So it wasn't all negative.
No.
Quite a lot of it was quite positive.
So one of the issues that's been amongst those comments as well has been the sort of disciplinarian sort of approach of the school towards one of the ones which seemed a little trivial, but the actual students being reprimanded for having their shirts hanging out. Is this something you recognise?
Yeah. So obviously we want students to look smart.
Yeah.
A smart dress, smart mind. It's your approach to your learning and your approach to your school. Do students get detentions for having the shirt tucked out? Yes, if it's blatant, it's all the way out. But if you've got a little bit untucked, no, you don't. You just say, "Can you tuck that in for me, please?" We're reasonable people. Yeah, we want students to get things right, and we will just remind them verbally. But anybody who just takes it too far, then they need a sanction. That's not an accident, that's done on purpose. And we make it really clear that our sanctions are not for accidental situations. They are for making a deliberate choice.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Something that sort of intrigues me, I never had a chance to ask this of a school principal. I actually taught myself for some years at University of Hertfordshire and the Hertford Regional College as a tutor. One of the biggest things we had was students and telephones. They would sit. The advent of smartphones and the ability to be able to text stuff from under the table without actually showing the teacher what they're doing became very prevalent, and classes were disrupted, something dreadful, and they were all sort of. It was a major issue. What policy do you have? This must be an issue with kids bringing phones in.
See, so we don't really have a problem with it because, and it's not a prison, but we do have a strict rule with it that if you're seen with your phone, there's no argument, it will just be confiscated on site and your parents will have to come and collect it. Students now don't mess about with it. We have far fewer phones confiscated than many of the schools that I've ever worked in.
So is the rule they can't bring a phone? Or
you can bring a phone and it should be switched off, it should be in your bag because some students need it for safety to get home with, we understand that. but you cannot use it from the start of the day to the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's our rule. If you're seen with it, it's confiscated immediately. And because it's that certainty of the sanction that will happen, the consequence will happen, every student knows it, there's no getting away with it, it just doesn't happen anymore. So it now becomes a non-issue. In the same way you were talking about the shirts, we have to give far fewer now detentions for shirts being non-tucked because nobody does it anymore.
So are you saying that you're happy with the disciplinary procedures that you have in place at the school now?
I am. I think the behaviour policy is very robust, don't get me wrong, and it is rigorously applied, but that's actually a good thing because students know then it's going to be fairly applied to all. They know what the boundaries are, they know what the rules are, and they don't want to break them or try and get away with it, so we can just move on. You know, like the conversation with the shirts, it's not a talking point anymore. Right. Conversation with the phones, we don't have to talk about it really anymore because it's no longer an issue for us. So we don't have disruption in lessons with phones. Has it never happened? Well, of course it happens occasionally, but it's not the same issue that I feel that some schools up and down the country are facing with the use of phones in school, the disruption, the distraction that it causes. Then you bring in the social media aspect of it, our students photographing each other, recording each other, the bullying that can come, cyberbullying from that. We don't have that.
We found that HE level, after all, as smartphones became more prevalent, we actually included them in the class. We made the students use them as though they would a laptop. And we'd actually sit them in the class and sort of say to them, there's something you've got to research here, get your phones out, this is what you're looking for, and set them about tasks using their phones. And we thought, if nothing else, at least they're learning how to use the phone sort of creatively, as rather than just text their mates on the what time the pub's open.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
I think there's a bit of a difference though, isn't there, which is quite interesting, between the older students and the younger ones who we have to safeguard, because when they're on the phones we would have no idea what they're accessing, and we're still responsible for them during the school day. So.
That's quite right. No, we had a huge difference between FE and HE as well.
Can we touch on one of the main issues that came up at the town hall, which was the sixth form, which I can recall it having over 400 pupils in the sixth form when my children were here. And I think we're down to about 107 now in the sixth form. That's quite a massive drop, isn't it?
So we have 107 in year 13, and we have got 38 in year 12. Right. And you know, I've been really honest about this. Yeah. That isn't a situation that we would want either. Right. It's as worrying to us is obviously the community, because we are a community school. We're the only sixth form provision, second provision in the town, and it's really important that the community, our children, have the opportunity to study locally.
Yeah. So why is it then that all the other schools in the area, Hinchinbrook, Ramsey, are going up, and the Ivo and other Astria schools are going down? Long Sands and Cottenham, I believe, their sixth form numbers are down. So,
just for clarity, Cottenham don't have a sixth form; they never had. Right. Long Sands have gone down as well. Right. And you know there are a variety of reasons why our sixth form numbers have gone down. Some of which I put in the newsletter because you need to be honest and open about it, especially with the parent engagement evenings as well. Some of it is the choice of subjects, some of it is the combinations that people want to do, some of it is for that year 11 group, they've gone through an awful lot of change within the school. Some of it they've not always agreed with, and they wanted a fresh start. They wanted to try something new somewhere else. Now, that's interesting for them because some of them, unfortunately, are now doing 2-hour trips each day, which they probably hadn't figured the impact that would have on their lives of study, that extra time they could be studying, whereas actually they've got a brilliant sixth form locally which they could attend. So I'm not going to say there's one single reason why the numbers have gone down. I think I've said previously, it's almost like a perfect storm of things that have happened, which the school has had to take account of, have to, say, some of it is our own doing, and we're going to have to take responsibility for that, reflect on it, and make some changes, make some promises, build up the trust again with the local community and our current year 11s, so that they do see us as the natural place where they would continue. Because we want our students to think of us as an 11 to 18 school. You come here for 7 years, you're successful, and then you go to university or whatever it is you want to do afterwards.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
So, I noticed that you've announced the upgrading of the sixth form in Hunt's Post following the visit of Ben Bisiekti, the MP. We had a meeting with him in Astria Academy principals, I think, and it was announced that you were going to do an upgrade. I mean, do you think that's one of the issues then?
I think we have to be competitive with the other facilities that other places have got. Northstowe opens just this year, and that's a beautiful building. So inspirational facilities can make people want to go there. And if I'm going to be honest, ours looks a little bit tired at the moment. The students want to know that we're willing to invest in them, that we feel that the sixth form is so important that actually that's where the money needs to go, to give them the facilities that make them want to stay with us. Just to touch on the timeline, it is something that we had already started previous to the MP coming. Right. So
we can't put it at his door then?
No, but he wasn't the catalyst. No, it was great to meet him and to hear his concerns and work with him and talk about how we can work together to address the concerns of the community. But no, this is something that we identified pretty early that needs to be addressed. So if you talk to the sixth form, as they will say, Mr. Meneaugh, he started getting us the sofas quite early on in the autumn term to try and improve the situation. Unfortunately, the school budget only goes so far, which is why that we've got the benefit of being a part of a trust, because I can draw then on the central finances. It doesn't have to come out of my budget to give the brilliant facilities which I think we're going to have.
So the way I look at this issue, though, is that is to a degree window dressing. The real issue is the pupils can't do the subjects they want to do. That's largely why many of them have gone to another school. And that relies on your sixth form offer being available, rather, because I think you said that at some point we're not running that, we haven't had enough takers up on that. Well, that's difficult for students to handle, isn't it? They want to know that when they're going to go to a sixth form, that what they want to do is available. So isn't that a bigger issue for you? How are you going to suddenly provide the classes that are required for students who want to go on to university?
So we've changed the way we've done things this year. So you're quite right. For September 2024, that intake, there were some subjects that were quite low uptake, which we had to let the students know that it couldn't run. Ultimately, there is only so much money in a school's budget, and you have to a certain extent be financially viable within the sixth form to make sure it is cost effective for the school. But I do take your point that we need to provide for students' futures as well.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
So we've expanded the number of blocks that students can choose from. So there's 5 blocks now rather than 4, which they choose the 3 subjects from, which gives them greater choice. We talk to students right at the start of this academic year about, okay, so what sort of combinations are you interested in before we set up the blocks? So that we could almost guarantee the vast majority of those who wanted to come to us would get the combinations that they were interested in, and then we put the blocks together in order to facilitate that, so that when they apply, which is finishing next week on the 14th in My Choice 16, they have the breadth and the possibility of the combinations that they want.
So are you confident that next year then that the intake will be greater because the students will be able to get the courses they want?
I think we've done everything we possibly can now to increase the offer that we've got for students, to make it possible for them to have the combinations that they want. Yes, I do want. We have to have the student body increase. We want to be a popular sixth form. We want to do everything we can.
I'm going to play devil's advocate now because I mean, obviously, this is an issue that's been going around, and we hear lots of different opinions, and one opinion is that Astria generally have been trying to run down sixth forms because they're more costly to run.
Right. No.
Is there? There's no. That's not the
absolutely
case?
not the case. No. Why would you want a sixth form in your school?
Well, that's the question I want to ask you.
We've got fabulous staff here who want to teach to the highest level in secondary education that they can of their subject. They're passionate about their subject. We desperately want to have a viable sixth form here. No, I don't want it to go ever.
Right. So
neither does the trust either.
Are you? So hand in hand with that, you've mentioned it, the staff. I mean, good teachers want to teach at the highest level.
Indeed.
The best schools have the teachers that will come because they can teach sixth form standard, but that bounces back through the whole school. You end up with the better. Are you struggling to get teachers to come to the Ivo now, or?
I think so obviously there's a national shortage, an issue with recruitment for all schools. Do we have it as bad as any other in the country? No, actually, our recruitment is pretty good. We don't have many long-term supply within the school at all, whereas some schools are really struggling for certain subjects. Yeah. So, and we do have a sixth form, we do have a wide sixth form offer, and I've published as well that the offer will be wider, and I guarantee that those subjects will be happening next year no matter what. So anybody joining us has got that reassurance, not just the students but also the staff, that they will still have the opportunity to teach at that really exciting high level in their subject.
So will you be offering foreign languages in the sixth form then?
Yes, it's on the...
Right.
It's on the blog. I said if anybody, even one person, wants to do it, it will run. Now we'll be honest with that person and say, you might end up being in a class of one person with one teacher, and that's not everybody's cup of tea.
Well, it's certainly not the school's cup of tea if money's tight. That's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, but so it is financially expensive to do that, but the financial expense that we're going to outlay for that is, I think, worthwhile to build back the trust of the community and the students, that they have some reassurance that nobody's going to pull the rug from them when it comes to September, that I want to go to St Ivo, sixth form, I want to do this subject, I know even if I'm the only person in there, they are going to run it from me. Guaranteed. I've put it black and white out there, shouted it from the hilltops, so there's no rowing back that I can possibly do.
Well, not now.
Well, no, exactly.
We're going to put it out there on the radio. So that's probably good news, isn't it, for the students?
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Can I ask, as they complete sixth form, do you track where they go from there? Do you have any idea where they move on to?
Yes, so we do have destinations data that comes out later, of whether they go to university, apprenticeship, etc. And that's actually published on the performance tables.
Right.
Is there any particular courses that they tend to gravitate towards?
It's generally different each year for the particular interests of students. So I would say no one cohort is exactly the same as the next.
No. And something which was a constant issue for me at the time, to get into sixth form in the first place, the government some years ago now made it that level 2, English and maths particularly, had to be achieved before you could get to move on. Is that still the case?
So we do ask students to get a grade 5 in English maths. Not in maths for all subjects. So one of the other things we did this year is we tweaked the entry criteria so that some subjects that don't particularly need the maths part of it wouldn't need that 5. For example, art. I don't mean any disservice to art, but the writing part of it is really important for English, but not necessarily the mathematical part of it for art. So they have a lower entry requirement for the maths component.
We had FE students that were looking to get onto apprenticeships, which being denied to them because they hadn't actually come out of school with level 2 English and maths. And it's exactly as you say, in some cases it was quite irrelevant whether they had it or not, but they were blocked from doing it. That's not caused you a trouble in recent times?
There is always some students who fall short of an entry requirement, if we're going to be honest. But what we do is we look, especially the day before when we get the results, before the students do, to see how close students are to the boundary. So anybody who is a few marks off getting a 5, for example, well, in my mind, a student who misses the grade 5 by 3 marks isn't that much worse than a student who gets the grade 5 by 3 marks. Their ability isn't particularly different. So why would I put a barrier in place for them to come into our sixth form? We have a discretionary amount which we work by each year to still enable students to come to us even if they narrowly miss. They can do the resits when they come to us, but it's almost an assumption that when they get here, they were so close. They might as well admit them, give them another go at it when they're doing their A-levels as well, with the thought that they're probably going to get it the second time around.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Right, well, as we've touched on sort of students' attainments and things, can I mention Progress 8 score to you?
You can.
Because I believe that I just need to explain this to some of the listeners, what the Progress 8 score is. It's basically a measure of a pupil's progress between the ages of 11 and 16, and it's a way of measuring a school's performance. You agree with that, Tony?
Yeah.
That's what the data says on the government's website, anyway. So basically, a 0 score is there's no change. That's the standard. And if you've got a score of 1, that means you've gone up a whole grade improvement, etc.
A 0 means your students are making similar progress to students nationally.
Correct. So they're not gaining, they're not losing.
They're not doing any better than other schools.
They're doing what is predicted.
They're doing the same as
what is predicted.
Yeah.
So
not quite what was predicted, because it's always different every year, because you're measuring it against that whole cohort.
Yes. So it's measured against their cohort, which is the important thing. And I just want to ask you, because in 23 your measurement was 0.23, which meant there was a slight grade. The most recent one is 0.14, so it's actually gone down. Yes. And also, it's on your website, it's still at 0.23. So that's not really giving an accurate picture. So
the website does have a link though to the performance tables, which we have to do,
right?
To make it quite clear that what our performance is. We are though positive 0.14. Our students do get more progress than other students nationally.
But I can also know that committee meetings and minutes that you were aiming for a 1.37, so you've gone quite a long way down from what you were aiming for.
Well, we're always aiming to get the best possible progress for our students. That we have high expectations of them, so we set targets very high for the students to try the best to achieve, because we want everybody to get.
Isn't it disappointing that instead of going or staying the same and going up, it's gone down though? Well, what's the factors for that then?
So progress rate is quite interesting, because even, for example, if it was 0.23 and it went down to 0.22, the way it's calculated doesn't necessarily mean that that's a drop. You think about it more as the overall category of whether it's statistically significant. Right. So we were 0.23, which is above average. If you get higher than that, then you're called significantly above average, because you fit into a new band. But once you're in that band, moving between it isn't actually a statistical significant change. Going from one band to the next is a statistically significant change. Right. Moving within the band doesn't necessarily mean an improvement or a decrease, because you're not comparing 1 year to the next. Right. You're always only comparing within the
same year. Yeah.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Don't get me wrong, I want the best progress rate score possible, you know, and I would love to see it going up and up and up, but sometimes it may not, and we have to we look back at it, we see where there may be any issues or may have been any areas.
So have there been any issues then, and what's the school doing about that?
So the English grades were slightly lower this year than they were previous year, and English gets double weighted within the progress rate. Right. So that's something that we're looking at and working with our staff. The maths was around about the same, and the subjects in our open bucket increased a little bit, but it's not as good as what the EBAC figures are, or the maths figures, for example.
Many people have mentioned to us that they think the schools itself is okay. They think the teachers are okay. They're very unhappy with the academy, with the Astrea Trust Academy. It seems to them that the Astrea Academy is pulling all the strings, as it were. And I mean, I'm only giving you comments that we've had here. I spoke with a well-respected teacher a little while ago about academies generally, and he sort of said that there were two types of academies. One was the relatively benign sort of academy, which is like a critical friend offering advice, and respecting each school is different. And then there's the other sort of academy where it's more about conformity and uniformity, where the schools and the teachers have to follow the same rules regardless. And that's been something that's been mentioned to me more than one occasion about the Ivo school. So which category does the Ivo and the Astrea come into?
I've always said that we are a community school and we're not a cookie-cutter sort of organisation. So what happens here is not the same as what happens in Long Sands or Enough or any of the South Yorkshire schools. We do have our own character, our own slight nuances on how we do things. Right. But there are also agreed ways that we all think, actually, you know what, that's a good idea. It's something that we can replicate quite easily in all the schools. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you say reinventing the wheel when actually you can draw on the good experience that's happening or good practice that's happening elsewhere? Now, are there certain things that we agree, we're going to do? And you know, the heads of all the secondaries get together regularly with the Astrea Central team to discuss about our way forward. It happens once every term. So it's not always a top-down approach. Some of the times it is a bottom-up approach as well.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's also good, you know, You don't join a trust to get no support whatsoever, or just get on with your own thing. You join a trust, or you're part of a trust, because you want to get the expertise and the support of people who have done this job before and have seen improvements in other schools before. So, for example, for our trust, they've moved from only one school, I believe, at secondaries was good, about 12 months ago, to 8 out of the 9 are now good. You don't get that sort of improvement if you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Well, people might not always agree with the way we're doing it, and obviously, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
I think that raises two issues. First of all, is the accountability of academies. As I mentioned right at the beginning, I was a governor of the school, but long before academies were on the scene, and the governing body was the ultimate body that you, as a headmaster, would be responsible to. Now it's an academy trust.
Yeah.
The governing body's seemingly is less powerful. I mean, the governing body, for instance, can't decide that Ivo could leave the academy. It's impossible. The only way the Ivo could leave the academy is the Secretary of State to say it, in effect. And I don't think any school has ever left an academy, but that's by the by. The issue for me is
I think some schools have been rebrokered, yes.
But the accountability rests with an academy trust committee, and that's quite a long way removed from the individual schools, isn't it? And it means that it can be quite frustrating for an individual school.
But the Academy Trust has a central team which they rely on of educational experience experts, if you will, to support that academy. So even though it feels a long way away, there are many people who support the school in between them and advise them as well, because they're not necessarily educationalists either, in the same way as local governors weren't.
Yes, some were, some weren't.
So exactly. We're really lucky because we've got a very active local governance committee who work passionately with us to support school and challenge the school as well. So even though they do have an advisory role, we definitely take that advice on board.
So you also mentioned, the fact that you've gone up to good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about Ofsted.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So that was another point I wanted to cover, because it's a pretty well-known fact that when you were being Ofsteded, teachers came in from other academy schools, and then vice versa.
So,
my only question
go on.
Is that ethical?
Yeah, because that's what all academy trusts do. It's also sort of expected by Ofsted. They have quite a gruelling schedule for the 2 days. They've got to get through a very large school, 1,500 student school, see a number of members of staff, see several departments, and in order for us to free up those members of staff, somebody has to do their duties. A lot of it happens over lunch, happens over break with senior leaders. Well, senior leaders are the people who duty the school at lunch. Somebody's got to come in order to do that role. And the beauty of being in part of a trust is we can support each other with that. What we didn't do is put any of those external people in front of Ofsted, and we have to, as part of the process, declare everybody who's in the building. Yeah. So it's full transparency. Yeah.
But it doesn't give you a true feel for how the school is in a normal day. I mean, part of the reason for Ofsted is in effect to try and gauge exactly what the school's really like.
So I would disagree, because actually at lunchtime I would be stood out at the canteen queue rather than talking to an Ofsted inspector. Somebody else is in my place. There's no extra people. It's just another person there where I would be while I'm in this office having a conversation about the school.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
I understand the point. I'm not convinced myself that that is a fair use of Ofsted, but there we go.
It used to be different quite a few years ago. So we used to come in for 5 days, and
Yes.
it was a completely different process.
Right,
but now
right.
it's really condensed.
Oh, how long do they come in for?
They're only in for 2 days,
Right.
And a lot of what they. So most of the observations, etc., would happen on the first day, and then there'll be other meetings happening on the second day, depending on what they find out on the first day.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to do when you're looking at probably 4 subjects in depth by the inspectors, and there was, you don't have an awful lot of inspectors coming in, either.
Yeah.
On 2 occasions I have been the observed tutor, and it's more than slightly raises the stress level.
Yes. It can be
Was
quite
that
high
the first
stakes.
heart attack, Ron?
yeah. That's when I kind of changed my view on things.
Well, I've only got one more question, which I suppose is a bit naughty, really, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, I think the overall impression from quite a number of people in the community is concern as to who is the Ivo now serving. Are you serving the academy, the Astray Academy, or are you serving the people of St Ives? I mean, is it more about doing right by the academy or doing right for the education of the children?
I think we are, I know we are committed to the education of our children in this community. What is the point in serving a trust? The trust don't want us to serve them. They want us to give the best education possible for the young people in St Ives. That's our whole purpose.
Right. So, what do you think is going to happen over the next year or two then? Do you think your reputation is going to rebound, do you think, and become better than it has been of late?
I would hope so. That's my aim. I'm doing my most that I can to get out into the community. What I'm really interested in is how we can bring the community into the school as well, to rebuild those links and for people to see truly what we're about and to build trust as well moving forward. We are a big organisation in the town.
Yes.
Well, it's really important that we do this right for the current students, but for the future students as well.
Do you have any specific plans? You talk about getting out into the community, inviting people in. Do you have any specific plans, for example, this year? Anything that you're going to be doing to do that?
So I've been trying to contact as many people as possible. So I've already talked to the mayor and deputy mayor. They've come in. They've seen students, talked to students, talked to staff as well, because I think it's important that we build those links with the town council. I'm going out as well to the primary schools in the local area to understand the joint educational challenges and commonalities that we have. I'm very interested in building in our work placement process and work-related learning work to get businesses involved. So if there's anybody listening who's a local business in the community, please contact us, because we really would like to talk to you about how you can support our Year 10s when they are doing their work-related learning and give them advice moving forward.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
You caught me there because I was about to ask that, because the employer engagement, I think, is quite a key issue once you start getting to sixth form areas. To be teaching what local employers were looking for really gives the students a huge step up at that point.
I know we spoke on another matter, wearing a town team hat, about the 600th anniversary of the bridge this year.
Yes, on the
and
phone.
we've got this massive big event happening in July. So a letter will be coming to you shortly explaining what's happening, and I'm hoping that the Ivo will get involved in some way with that. The English Civil War Society, who we are engaging to put on this event, will come to the schools and do a session on the history of the English Civil War, So if you're up for that, please let us know.
I think that's absolutely amazing. Definitely count us in. I would love to see them in, and that engagement of a national organisation, but also the local context as well. Yeah. And for our students to see that, definitely.
Good. We'll hold you to that.
Yeah, too right.
Thank you. Have you got anything else, lads?
No. To sum up, really, I'd just like to thank Tony very much for again coming and talking to us today. Let's hope we can put the record straight over a few things and go from strength to strength. But thank you for today.
Thank you too as well. I've really enjoyed this. It's a great opportunity. I'm always open. I try to be transparent, and I don't mind people coming in and challenging me. So,
I thought you were very brave to offer it to us over here originally, but that's fine.
But on the behalf of Riverport Radio, we'd like to just wish you and all your staff here Happy New Year, and we wish you well for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Please, if you've got stories or you've got things to tell us or something humorous or something serious, whatever you've got, please do write to editor@theriverporter.uk. Let us know what's going on, and we will attempt to chat about it on occasions here with Riverport Radio.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio. Next up, we interview Kathy from the local Slimming World group.
Good afternoon, Catherine.
Hello.
We're here with Catherine Riley, who runs Slimming World in the area and has been a constant contributor to the Report newspaper. And we thought it would be very apt to ask Catherine how particularly Ron and me could lose some weight now following the Christmas binge that we've all been on.
Well, good afternoon, and it's nice to meet you, but please call me Kathy. If you call me Catherine, I think I'm about to get a row. And yeah, I am a Slimming World consultant in St Ives, but there are a team of us. I'm not just the only one. So
how many are there of you then?
There's 4 of us in the area now. There's 2 of us working in St Ives, 1 in Fenstanton and 1 over in Somersham. So
business is good.
Business is good, yes, it is. But still, there are a lot of people, like yourselves, that are coming out of Christmas that possibly haven't ever heard of Slimming World. It's really strange, because having done this for so long, I can't believe that people don't know we're here, but people don't.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
so you find people that come along and it's the first time they've heard about it?
Yeah, definitely.
I presume they've heard about it in the Riverport, actually.
Obviously. Yeah, it's the first time they've heard about Slimming World, and by the time people get to us, they are desperate. They've tried everything to lose weight, and I was one of those people. I joined Slimming World because I didn't like how unhealthy I was. I tried various diets, they didn't work, and I must admit, the first meeting I went to, I thought the woman was lying. I couldn't believe that she was encouraging me to eat normal everyday foods around healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle. So it's not just about the food, it's understanding the psychology of it, and also building in some activity if you can.
Right. So your classes involve activity?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Not at all. We leave that down to you. What we do is give you the tools for healthier eating. We have that group experience. It's called image therapy, individual motivation and group experience, where we talk about food, we talk about solutions, the problems that people come up against when they're going out to eat or when family come round and things like this, and we give you the tools to create a better eating plan for yourself. We don't give you anything apart from the basic tools, because it's your plan, you decide what to eat. And then we also talk about the habit changing, because that's the big thing. No matter how you're trying to lose weight, you need to change your habits. So you'd sit there, you'd join in the conversation if you wanted to, and then I'd have a brief chat with you afterwards, and hopefully you would join.
So this habit changing would stop me, for instance, eating a pound of cheese just before I go to bed?
Yes. It would. You could still have your cheese. I mean, the way the plan is put together is to keep you as full as possible. So there are groups of foods that you can eat as much as you like of, things that are low in calorie but that will fill you up. So things like pasta, rice, potatoes, lean meats, fish, that type of thing. Things that for their weight are very low in calories. Then you've got a group of foods where you would get your calcium and your fibre to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients that you need, but they would need to be measured so that you are having them in a healthy amount. And then there's the bit for everything else. The chips.
The fully loaded chips.
The fully loaded chips, the alcohol and things like this. So you would still have those foods in your eating plan, but possibly not as much because you'd be measuring and counting those as well. But it takes away that feeling of being deprived and that you're on a diet, because it's not a diet, it's you changing your habits for the rest of your life.
Well, I was going to say that this obviously is a crucial time of the year for you when people are starting to think of New Year resolutions, even though they might not keep them. They will come to you.
So do you have set evenings that you meet, or how does it work?
Yes, we do. Vicky runs a group at 5:30 on a Thursday evening.
And where does this take place?
In the Burley Hills Centre. All the St Ives groups are in the Burley Hills Centre, and then I'm there on a Friday morning at 9:30 and a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and 9:30. Okay. Then over in Fenstanton, Lorraine is in the United Reformed Church, and she runs on a Tuesday night at 5:30 and 7. And Vicky opened last week in Somersham Primary School, and she runs at 7 o'clock on a Thursday.
So is that a new one?
That's a new one, yes.
And how was attendance? Good?
It was very, very good. She's worked really hard. Vicky was one of my members, and it was lovely to see her sort of blossom into the person she was last Thursday when she was welcoming everybody to group. So the numbers were good, and of course more this week now that the kids have gone back to school and everything. We'll see more members coming through the door now because life is returning to normal after Christmas. So.
And what about Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, we've got we all have our individual business pages, but the main one for St Ives is St Ives Slimming World Groups.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Just so our listeners can reference that. That's good.
Yeah. And of course look out for the advert in the River Porter, and we've got all our telephone numbers on there.
Well, you've got one in Friday's issue coming out.
We do.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I mean, people talk about the cost of losing weight as well. We're really lucky that Healthy You have joined with us to do a referral scheme, and that's recently been opened up again, where potential members can go to their GP or just ring Healthy You, and they could be eligible for a free 12-week membership of Slimming World.
12 weeks, that's
12
pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah.
I must be honest, the GPs in St Ives are really, really supportive of this scheme, and we do get a lot of members because people waiting for operations, people wanting to improve their health. Pre-diabetes is a big thing at the moment, I've noticed, so that's an easy way for them to get that.
Excellent. You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio. And finally, we join our intrepid roving reporters, Ronnie and Eric, who are on their way to the New Year's Day hangover party.
Well, here I am, me and Eric, we're wandering around, we're just coming down Bridge Street at the moment. It's New Year's Day, and surprisingly there's quite a lot of people in Bridge Street actually walking into the town. Perhaps they're all coming down to see Paul at his hangover party. The hangover party has become a bit of a tradition now in town, and this happens every New Year's Day. Following the party in the night before, everybody gets together in the Nelsons, and Paul entertains everybody in the name of a named charity. This year, I believe, it's for Macmillan, but Paul will tell us all about that. Now, he's not expecting me to turn up today, so we're going to catch him and see what we can say. Right, well, I've just arrived in the Nelsons now. I've just this minute come in, and he's standing here in the doorway looking very poised and ready to go. So what's it all about then, Paul? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, hello, Ronnie. It's just, lovely to see you, mate, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, mate.
This is all about raising as much as we can for Macmillan Cancer Relief. We do it every year. We've been doing it for about the last 4 or 5 years, and we raise thousands of pounds for Macmillan. And we hope to raise a lot more today. So we kick off about 3:30, and really looking forward to it.
No, I'm really looking forward to it at all. Even Eric's come round. It's an excellent turnout, as it always is. The Nelson's Head here is really crowded. A little bit of standing room available at the front here, but generally a really good turnout. So let's hope they all put their hand in their pockets and actually support Macmillan Trust, which is the chosen charity for this year.
Welcome all to the Nelson's Head New Year's Day hangover party. Welcome. How are we all feeling today? How's the hangovers? Good? Yeah. Have we nursing a few hangovers, Lewis? Yeah. Okay. Jen, what about you? A little bit of a hangover. Well, the idea today is obviously, apart from having a good time, is to raise as much money as we can for Macmillan Cancer Support. That's the charity we're fundraising today for. I'll be playing for nothing for the next 3 hours, and there will be some lovely ladies coming amongst you with flashing headbands, and that will denote the fact that they are fundraising and collecting for Macmillan. Okay, we'll get on with the show, and nice to see you all. And the idea is to ease you in gently, and then we'll sort of pick it up when you've had a couple of beers and you're ready to start partying again, before you all fade away into obscurity by about 6:30. So let's get on with the show. Okay. This is the song I started with just on the sound check. This is called The Piano Man. I'm called The Piano Man, so it's kind of fitting that we start with this one. Here we go. It's New Year's Day at the Nace. The hungover crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to him, making love to his tonic energy.
And 3 hours later, the hangover party is reaching its climax.
And I feel the thing.
Well, that was this year's hangover party, and what an amazing, huge success. The best party yet, full house, record-breaking donations, and just absolutely amazing atmosphere through the afternoon. Paul returned to the Nelson's Head on Sunday to announce the incredible amount raised. The charity this year was for Macmillan Cancer Support, and here's what Paul had to say.
The point of the New Year's Day hangover party, of course, is that we, apart from having a good time, we raise a lot of money for charity. And many of you will be wondering how much we raise. How much? Oh, thank you very much, thank you. And the donations are still flooding in, which is fantastic. So, if I can just sort of recap a little bit, we've been doing, on the New Year's Day, it's our 5th New Year's Day hangover party, this one just gone. For the British Heart Foundation, which was before the Macmillan, we have raised, or you have donated, and we've raised over £6,000, which is amazing. And we've done that just on the New Year's Day hangover party, my Christmas singles, whatever. We've all donated to that, which is fantastic. So thank you to all of those people who donated for that. And now the amount we raised this year, I'll have to check. It's going up all the time. Well, I'm not going to change it. So, drum roll. Where's the drummer when you do this? Yeah. The amount we raised on this New Year's Day hangover party, big drum roll, was £1,236.25. Which is amazing. And that beats last year's total by a couple of £100, so it's quite amazing. So thank you so much for all those who came and enjoyed the day, and all those who donated. And if there's anyone who hasn't donated but would like to donate to this wonderful cause, I'm here. I can take cash payments, I can take card payments, anything to get more money to Macmillan. So thank you all for that. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank Andrew for hosting it. The bar staff for keeping us hydrated on the day. And my lovely ladies who help with all the fundraising. Ladies, give it up. And yeah. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. Thanks all so much for your generous donations on New Year's Day. Thank you.
You're listening to Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio.
Riverport Radio. Well, that just about wraps up our first Riverport Radio podcast of 2025. And on behalf of the Riverport Radio podcast team, I'd like to wish you a healthy and happy new year. To finish off, I'm going to play you out with some music from this year's hangover party. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time here on Riverport Radio.
Stop it, have a good time, stop it, Stop me, get the money, you good time. Don't stop me, don't stop it.
Sing it with me now.
La 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 la. Beautiful. La 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 la.
No, I've got to go. St John's ambulance is waiting outside for me. With a defib. So, I'm sorry. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.